The Outer Worlds 2 is gonna be one of the most boring, safe, mediocre disasters ever in gaming at this point. That small ember of magic that Obsidian once had is now completely distinguished, buried, and replaced with a bunch of talentless trash. Everything I see about the Outer Worlds is a complete failure. Even just looking at this right here, I see Avowed. I see the same color palette, the same type of failed world building as Avowed. And one of the worst parts about all of this is the fact that they learned nothing. All of the problems that people had towards the Outer Worlds 1 completely ignored. And what did they decide that was the biggest problem, the biggest failure of the Outer Worlds 1? Well, it was not having not enough guns. This is absolutely pathetic. And we have 30 minutes of this demo.
Increase the variety of weapons by including new weapon types, but also through a host of fun and unique weaponry. We have things like the Boar Blaster that fires out tumors that can explode like grenades, or can even be eaten by the player for additional health.
Guys, we added a gun that shoots cancer at people. Isn't that fun? We added a gun that creates lampshades that get broken over people's heads. More guns, guys. I know you like guns. This is probably one of the worst things that they could have done.
We have a weapon called Rookie's Reward that will actually level up the more you use it throughout the game. And every time it levels up, it's got fun fanfare where it's like shooting out confetti.
Wow! Fun fanfare, guys! Look! Bright lights! Bright lights! There is absolutely nothing left of the company that once made Fallout New Vegas and put Bethesda to shame. There's absolutely nothing left at this point.
And it's got a fun little setup. We have a really fun weapon called the pop-up gun. It fires out ad drones that will distract your enemies with corporate ads, slogans, and jingles. While your enemies are distracted, you can focus fire on them or explode these drones for additional damage.
How fun and exciting, said no one.
New to the Outer Worlds 2 are throwables. So you can use frag grenades to flush out enemies, smoke grenades to camouflage and escape, distraction devices to bait enemies into a stealth attack, and even science grenades that will levitate enemies, allowing you to fire upon them while they float helplessly.
Wow, we're Borderlands 4 now.
And of course, science weapons are back. We have returning favorites, like the Shrink Ray. This time it's been upgraded, so you can shrink your enemy down to the size of a sprat and run over them, exploding them into bits.
The Shrink Ray, that was probably my favorite one from the first game, so we brought it into the second game, but we improved it though, so instead of...
Okay, how many people have honestly played Outer Worlds 1, and don't lie, probably no one, and are gonna be like, oh yeah, weapons are the biggest problem that the game faced. Not the story, not the exploration, not the freedoms, not the choices, but the weapons. No, no one's saying that. But granted how much of a disaster Avowed was, and considering this is, well, literally Avowed, listen, it is so bad that the game's not even out yet. It's not even close to being out, honestly. But I am almost 100% certain that this is going to be a ginormous disaster. I think if Avowed struggled to get 20k players, this game is going to struggle to get 15k players. I'm already making predictions. This is how bad I honestly think these things look.
Shrinking your enemies for a short...
Oh, and 5 people in my comment section saying, oh, this was actually a Game Pass game? So, all the people are actually playing a Game Pass? Looks up Xbox Live numbers. Oh, look at that. No one's playing Avowed still. Not even in the top 50. Game Pass game my ass, boys. It is what it is. Yeah, these people are annoying.
Short period of time in the...
Oh, and obviously, we haven't even mentioned the fact that, are you ready to pay $80 for primetime slop, boys? Avowed failed because it was $60 when it looked like a $30 game. Now, the Outer Worlds 2, Avowed's Big Brother, if you want to call it that, is gonna cost 80. Bro, honestly, you know what? 7K. No, 8K. 8K. Let's be generous. 8K peak players on Steam. 8K peak players on Steam. That's my prediction. Let's go.
having them re-expand. This time, they stay shrunk, and we actually added in the ability to step on them and kind of squish them and kick them, because we knew that that was the player fantasy. We knew that's what everybody wanted to do. They wanted to step on the enemies. They wanted to kick them. So we made sure to double down on that stuff.
Wow.
In addition to things like our returning favorites, we also have some really fun and unique new science weapons. One of them is called the Armageddon. This one's really cool because it actually shoots out these masses that are like these little arms that will stick to people or cover or all kinds of different things, and they will continue to just hit them until they get destroyed. And we have another one that's just super cool called the Spectrum Dance Saber. This is a melee weapon that actually lets you attack to a musical beat. And if you continue to do that, you'll actually get additional bonuses each hit you do. One of my personal favorite weapons is called the Big Bang. It's just a big freaking gun that uses material harvested from rifts to shoot out a giant ball of energy, vaporizing everything in its path. Now, ammo's
Okay, how long do they spaz out about the weapons being boring?
extremely rare for this weapon, but you can use it in just the right situation to devastating effects.
Like another great one is Gary. If you wear Gary, he will lash out at your opponents as you're walking through combat. So we even have science armors, and we've really kind of shown off what we thought was really great for the player from a science perspective.
We're all about letting people play the game their way. There are some players who prefer to be immersed in a first-person view, taking in all of the details. But there are others who really prefer to take the world in from a third.
Yeah, this is literally Avowed all over again. Initially, by the way, I was pretty excited about Avowed because they actually seem to do flaw and fauna good. But that was when we saw only spastic parts about how the world actually looks. And then you got the full picture. It was bad. It was really bad. And this probably is going to be the same thing because there's no way that these losers actually learn from their mistakes.
Person perspective. Why not allow both? Well, now you can swap between the two, letting you enjoy the experience in whatever way you like. One of the things I really like about having the third-person mode is being able to see all of the fun and unique armors and armor combinations and weapons that you can equip your player with. All of the actions that you could do in first person, so you're double jumping around, you get to see your character in that way, and you get to take in the world and see things in a different light.
Yeah, it looks like someone just diarrheaed all over this world and called it a day. Like, look at this. How many colors do you see? I see like 5 rainbows, okay? That's 5 rainbows too much.
Let the killing commence.
Is that, by the way, the same spider from Avowed? It kind of looks like it. More guns, yay. Okay.
The Outer Worlds 2 is a sequel to The Outer Worlds 1. It's a continuation of the themes of robber barons in space and how people are controlled by the stories they're told by the people who have power over them. This time we're able to go a lot deeper because we have more time and money, which is a great thing, and we're able to make it a much more true Obsidian reactive RPG than we were the first time around.
Well, that sounds like a great thing to say. Too bad I'm assuming it's a blatant fucking lie.
So we're going deeper and more complex with everything for this sequel. Deeper story, lore, RPG interactions, reactivity, all the things we've been known for as a company. It's really a complete realization.
Okay, listen. I know some of you are thinking, wait, isn't this good news? And the reality is, no, this is horrible news because this is the same shit they did with Avowed. They promised reactive, great story choices with And no one's talking about how good the role playing wasn't about, okay? Everyone's talking about other things and not good things. No one's talking about the great storytelling or choices and whatever from Avowed. And again, this is the same company that made Avowed. So, do you think honestly the Outer Worlds still is not gonna end up being a lie as was Avowed?
Of everything people want from an Obsidian game. Surprisingly, this is the first time in over 25 years that I've had the chance to do a full sequel for a world that I helped co-create. It's really just a fantastic opportunity to explore and expand the universe in interesting ways, and to go even further with the themes of how people are affected by living in a dystopian corporate reality.
You can shoot your way through it, you can talk your way through it, you can sneak your way through it. And so no matter what kind of playstyle that you like, this is just an awesome franchise and an awesome game to jump into, even if it's your first one.
The first Outer Worlds was a great base to start from, as it has all the elements of a great Obsidian RPG. Interesting characters, deep worlds, important choices. In the Outer Worlds 2, not only did we want to double down on those elements, but we wanted to give players even more of it.
We've also put a lot of investment into skills and traits that impact things like combat, conversations, and areas that we call RPG interactions.
Wow, boys! Avowed, no, not Avowed too, but Outer Worlds saved. Look, you can use strength to open the door, or you can enter the door. Yes, this is great. Yes, you know what? Opinion changed. Avowed fanboy. Where's my rainbow flag?
Conversations in areas that we call RPG interactions, which are the
Bro talks about RPG interaction shows that there's two ways of opening a door. I want to kill myself. I'm joking, YouTube.
part of the world where players can use their specific skills, perks, and backgrounds to solve problems in unique ways in our new, bigger worlds.
Makes
I
sense.
love a deep RPG experience, and building out that RPG crunchiness for our players was at the forefront of what we set out to create. We prioritized those
They said the same thing about Avowed.
deeper RPG options with different character builds and combos so players can express their role-playing power fantasies. We also have different equipment options for different playstyles and different companions with different abilities.
Oh boy, I can't wait to have 5 of the one-dimensional, same exact copy-paste personality of one companion. It's gonna be great.
In the first Outer Worlds, you start off as the Stranger, which was basically a blank slate to build on top of with various attribute points that would begin to define your personal experience in the game. You can make any kind of character you want, but we've given you a role. That role is an Earth Directorate agent. You can think of them as kind of like space cowboys or space sky marshals. They're the good guys that go in.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, that does that not scream role playability and having no evil? What is it with these companies and not allowing people to make any evil choices? It's just such a joke. Most people, most people don't actually choose the evil paths in games, except me, who does it naturally for some strange reason. But most people don't. But still, everyone wants there to be at least a evil option because that allows you to measure against yourself. But no, here it's like, hey, you're the good guy. Role play, am I right?
Into places and kind of fix everything that's wrong. You're gonna be one of those. But we don't tell you why you joined the Earth Directorate. There could have been a lot of different reasons, right? It could have been because you're an actual lawbringer and you want to go in there and spread law throughout the galaxy. It could be that you're a roustabout and you just had nothing better to do. After you pick your background, one of the really important choices you have next is choose.
Well, to be fair, picking this or saving your father the fifth time in a row after he abandons you from the vault is kind of okay, I guess?
Using your traits. While we had attributes in the first Outer Worlds, we've leaned into traits for the Outer Worlds 2, which are these big changes to your character depending on which ones you pick.
Okay. Listen, let's read this. Brilliant. During skill selection, specialize in one additional skill. Specialized skill starts with 2 points. Heroic, 20% companion ability charge. Innovative. Various crafting recipes are more effective for you, allowing you to create more items for fewer resources. Yeah, yeah. You see, this is what I mean. This is a joke, and they're gonna call this in-depth role playing and fucking choices. Bruh, might as well be literally a choice between +5 damage and +5 damage.
So it could be something like Brilliant, where you can tag extra skills and you start getting extra skill points, and that's obviously really
Literally, by the way, trying to copy Fallout 3, but that's okay.
great if that's how you want to build your character. You can also go and do something like Lucky, where you get extra
Lucky, +5 crit chance. Certain opportunities are just accessible to you. Okay. I mean, this honestly seems like the most unique one out here, but I mean, everything else was just bad.
for critical chance, and you also get a lot of really cool options throughout the game.
Now, admittedly, how many really cool options that exist? Probably none. Otherwise, this is like blatantly the best thing to pick.
As well. Of course, we brought back Dumb.
Nimble, crouch speed, combat sprint speed. Wow. Resilient. Death is prevented for 3 seconds after the first time you would have died each combat. Guys, these are really big roleplay changes. No. If anyone thinks that this is interesting, you have not played the real game with real choices, sadly. I'm not gonna lie.
So players love the Dumb option.
Tell me, do you believe in signs? Not quite what I meant, but I like your contempt for
Okay, let's read this properly. Allow me to introduce myself. I am DB Milver Street, Minister of Marketing, a Duke of something. Okay, no one cares. Tell me, do you believe in signs? You mean like the ones that say trespassing and no entry? Sure don't. I believe everything happens for a reason. You're trying to sell me something. Let me leave a bit. Okay. Does any of this even remotely feel like a choice you want to make? I'm sorry, but I wouldn't pick any of these three. It's just like, no. It feels like I'm being forced into a conversation with this soulless puppet.
Not quite what I meant, but I like your contempt for boundaries. I could put your adventurous spirit to good use.
And you get like lots of really cool, fun conversation options in the game, but we took that even further. And again, there's lots of elements in the game where you can...
Like, if that was a proper role-playing game, you know what this guy would have said? Wow, you're fucking retarded, aren't you?
And you get like lots of really cool, fun conversation options in the game, but we took that even further. And again, there's lots of elements in the game where you can be dumb and use that for something. Could be something as simple as banging on a machine to get it to work.
Wow.
After you've invested in some of your traits, your next choices are going to be choosing your skills. The skills themselves basically allow you
to... Melee damage! More hitting!
Build on your playstyle and what your character is doing in the game.
Okay, to be completely fair, this actually looks more interesting and better than... Okay, when your special points that you pick that are supposed to be unique are worse than +5 to damage, and this is more exciting, because I'm serious, but I'm currently more excited by this, which is hilarious. I'm more excited by the just static plus number go up things than the actual huge choices. Bro, this is just sad.
The game. That will be everything from playing stealthily to speccing for an explosive specialty. Throughout your entire journey, your character continues to change with the different choices you make. In the Outer Worlds 1, actually had more skills than we have, so we condensed them down to really the core and essence of what we really wanted there.
You know how in the first game you actually had more options? How about less options? How about that? That sounds exciting and fun, doesn't it? You brain-damaged monkey? Yeah! No, it's like, you just... it's just a disappointment.
But we made each point that you put into a skill much more impactful. So instead of getting small percentage changes, we actually did much larger changes per point that you put into each skill. And again, all these things, because of how they're checked inside the world itself, can matter quite a bit. You know, just even having one additional skill point in something can open up a lot more options in the world itself. If anybody's played Fallout New Vegas, they'll be very familiar with like the perk system. We basically borrowed that, but went even grander. We actually have more perks.
Bro, listen, shut up, you loser. Shut up, you lying shit. I have played Fallout New Vegas more times than I can honestly count. I have no idea. And not once did I join the NCR. Well, pretty much always I just go for the neutral route with yes man. But that's just the chaotic nature of my being. Okay? Well, like look at this. Oh, we made none of the when in Fallout New Vegas you gain a level up, you're excited. Okay, there's gonna be things. There's gonna be options. There's gonna be stuff, you know. Especially every second level when you get that juicy stuff. Okay. But here, what is this? Again, this is shit. This is just bad.
Perks than Fallout New Vegas did. But here's the cool thing, right? We check and use perks for literally everything, right? So you can do everything from, hey, I want to make a stealthy build that steals stuff and is really good at that. Okay, great. Well, you can take maybe the pickpocketing perk. So that's not available to everybody, but if you select that, now you can actually go around and steal things out of people's pockets. There's another perk called heavy-handed, right? Where say you're a melee person, what this does is now your power attacks that you use actually knock people down.
A 10-second cooldown, eh?
Oh man, I really like the serial killer perk. As you start killing people, they will drop hearts. And you can take those hearts, and essentially you're taking these trophies, you could say, and it's actually
5 max health per heart collected. Yeah, that's overpowered. Now, admittedly, this is actually not that bad. This at least, but a lot of other things just seem kind of like super boring. Okay, you can pickpocket people. Wow, Obsidian. We're going really deep with the abilities, huh?
giving you a permanent health bonus every time you do it. We have this perk called Assassin. Now, this is an early game perk that you can take, which every time you stealth attack an enemy, you're actually going to get a movement bonus for a certain amount of time.
That's pretty good.
Flaws were
Okay, gameplay like that, though, kind of does speak to me because I'm all about that stealth, boys.
a system that everybody loved from the first game, but we wanted to make it more personal to the player. We wanted it to really reflect how you were playing the game and give you a bonus that you actually wanted to really engage with.
With the flaw system returning, we knew...
Okay, the perk system, though, maybe all of it doesn't seem bad, but a lot of it seems boring. This is a far cry from how good New Vegas was with its system. Hell, this is even probably a far cry from how Fallout 3 was with their stupid system, which was bad. But at least it's kind of something, okay? So, we got one system that does not look like garbage, boys. Pat yourselves on the back, devs. You did it. You did it.
We needed to go bigger, better, and more real than ever before. So, we turned to the team. I told them, no bad ideas. Give me what you got.
Wow.
Okay, we need more flaws. We need them to be real. I want to put them in the game, so give me something. Inspiration. What's wrong with you?
Oh, I have bad knees.
You got bad knees? They hurt when you walk a lot?
Yes.
When you walk too much?
Oh, they're doing a skit. That is cringe as hell. I'm just gonna skip that.
Is something called bad knees. It will actually give you the option to take this flaw that'll make it so that you move faster throughout the game. But the problem is, anytime you stand up, your knees are going to make a loud popping noise that makes it so that, well, everyone around you is going to hear you.
There's one called Kleptomaniac. This is really interesting because what it does is when you steal something, you can actually sell it for more bits than normal. And like that sounds really great. The drawback is sometimes when you're looking at things in the world that are owned by somebody else, you'll automatically steal them. So you have to be very careful about how you use them.
So that's something no one's gonna take and is gonna piss people off. I thought that they're going there because, well, that's what kleptomaniacs do.
One of our more wacky perks is the Sun Gazer flaw, and it just gives everyone cataracts while playing their game. So everything becomes like light shafts and blooms and hazes and makes
the flaw system was already flawed in the first game and no one really liked it. This just sounds like you begging me to download a mod because the flaws are stupid.
Game pretty unplayable if you happen to choose that perk.
If you happen to be the type of player that habitually reloads your weapons like I do, well, you'll be offered the flaw of overprepared. Now, you'll get larger magazine sizes on all of your weapons, but if you ever fully empty your magazine, you're gonna take a debuff for a while. While we support options like being a gunslinger who wants to key into destructive weapons, or a rogue who wants to alpha strike their enemies before they know what hit them, we also allow for a lot of fun and experimental builds. You can be a mad scientist who utilizes gadgets and wacky science weapons and armors, or even a psychopath who gains permanent bonuses to health by murdering their friends.
Nothing shows the impact of these character build options better than, in my opinion.
Okay, this small 30-second segment is probably the best part that I have heard about the Outer Worlds ever. Too bad it's only 30 seconds.
The bridge area, which has a quest you get early on in Paradise Island. Not only do you kind of encounter this very early, and it's a very core one to the story, but it really expresses our philosophy of allowing the player to solve problems in a bunch of ways. So you may solve it by, speech options. You may talk to them and maybe have to go do a quest for them and really kind of prove that you're a friend of the Protectorate to get by.
I may have need of your help, stranger, if you are ready to seize an opportunity to show fealty to the Protectorate.
You could go guns blazing and you could just take everyone out inside the POI, lower the bridge itself, and kind of get across.
Well, okay. Do you want to bet you can't kill important characters like in Avowed? I can.
You could sneak in, lower the bridge, and then actually sneak in under the bridge to get over to the other side. You can bypass the bridge entirely if you found like certain gadgets, like the shield gadget that protects you from poison gas as you go across, or the double jump boots, which kind of allow you to jump across the chasm and get across that way. There's even a really kind of messed up way, right? Which is players can actually sacrifice one of their companions. The companion who they just found is part of.
We're no different than the Breeze if we start tossing our own to the rats.
Sacrifice, you say?
I sure as law ain't gonna follow someone who can't see the wrong in it.
I must admit I'm surprised we could come to an understanding. But I thank you for your loyalty, stranger. As promised.
Oh boy. The market's back on the menu, boys!
You shall have clearance to cross this bridge.
It's such a fun quest, but again, it really showcases that we want you to be able to solve this in whatever way you want to.
Listen, the fun part is everyone's probably who's gonna play gonna do it because, let's be completely fucking real, all the companions in this game are probably gonna be whiny bitches. And no one's gonna want to deal with them. So, everyone's gonna probably sell out and kill all of their companions because they're boring and lame.
When you build your character your way, we're there for you. We really want you to have the experience that you want to have out of this.
Which sounds like a bonus, but keep in mind, that is not what they intended.
From the very beginning of our discussions about the Outer Worlds, we really knew we wanted every game to...
I like how he's sitting on the table because he's relatable to the kids.
Take place in a different colony. This lets us expand on all aspects of the universe. Every colony can be its own thing with its own flavor, and we can center them around anything we want. Any ideas or setting we're interested in. Arcadia is an isolated colony with abundant resources, and it's run by an authoritarian faction called the Protectorate. Their dictatorship is thematically
I wondered if they're in any way Nazis. Well, I guess we'll find out.
based around the question of how much freedom people will give up for security and luxury. For Protectorate subjects, unfortunately, that answer is everything. The Protectorate is also incredibly wealthy because it was founded by the inventor of the skip drives, which are the outer world's faster-than-light engines. But those skip drives are starting to cause rifts in space-time, which are cutting off all the other colonies on Earth from being able to trade with each other. The Order of the Ascendant is an offshoot of the Order of Scientific Inquiry from the original game, and like them are a science-based religion with the same goal of solving the universal equation, which will allow them to predict and alter the future to the benefit of all mankind. They used to be part of the Protectorate, but they split.
How absolutely boring and dull. Okay, the first one was boring. Oh, space Nazis. Well, I've never seen that one before. And the second one is a cult? Like, none of these factions sound appealing. What makes a faction appealing is ideology, rights, wrongs, flaws, and being right about things no matter how evil you are. That's what makes factions interesting. The fact that you may not agree with them, but you may see that they have a point.
Split off to focus on solving the equation for the good of everyone, not as a way to simply control the masses. The player's been sent to Arcadia as an Earth Directorate agent to find out how the skip drives are causing the rifts and what can be done to stop them. Each of the factions have their own solutions to the rift problem and their own goals. The Protectorate wants to close them to protect their legacy as the inventor of the drives and their wealth. The Order wants to close them not only for the good of everyone, but also because they're complicating the math they're using to solve the universal equation. And Antes just wants to be able to open and close them at will to control all the trade routes between the colonies.
That sounds lame. We didn't even get a generic, oh, we want to use this because it's a weapon and then dominate the galaxy deal. We didn't even get that?
In addition to expanding the themes and lore of the Outer Worlds, we're also expanding the humor, so each faction has its own flavor of absurdity. Anti's Choice is a merger between Anti-Cleo and Space...
Ah, yes. Let's try to make a storyline that's almost relevantly, intense? Is that the right word I'm looking for here? Intense? No, probably not, but, you know, good, close enough, good enough. And let's make it into a giant joke, because why not? Yeah. Let's make the space Nazis, and let's make them funny? All of this sounds as lame as possible. As generic as possible.
There's Choice from the original game, and there are corporate representatives in the Outer Worlds too. They've invaded Arcadia to liberate their resources for all of humanity, at a profit, of course.
Wow.
One of my favorite things from Fallout New Vegas is the radio system. It was just iconic for me, and I wanted to make sure that the Outer Worlds 2 had that. So we actually built out 3 different radio stations, one for each of the major factions. You also have a ton of music. Each station might have, like, I think 20 tracks of unique music that we've made for it. It's a lot of stuff. But the really cool part about this entire thing is that we actually put a lot of reactivity into the radio. So it will respond to the things that are going on around the world that you've been interacting with. So if you go into a location, let's say you solve a problem for the Protectorate folks, if you listen to the Protectorate radio station, they're gonna be cheering you on as a hero.
Wonderful news, everyone. The Zeranium gas leaks at the Automech repair facility, strongly believed to be caused by Anti's Choice malefactors, have been corrected.
Some hotshot for hire just managed to fix the electrum leak in their repair facility. Now, I'm not saying
That sounds boring.
we caused it in the first.
So they literally said Fallout Radio was good, and then they made it bad. Okay.
Place, but we sure like the idea of all those broken auto mechanicals and all the excessive gasping and choking involved.
Pointless warfare. We came to to spread freedom and liberate resources for profit. But this pesky Earth
Communism, good. Democracy, bad. Capitalism, even worse.
Directorate agent is mucking things up. They're not alone in doing so. And they think they can just choose how things play out. They could stop us from stealing the Protectorate's brainwashing technology, which we need to improve our market share. What if...
Ugh. It's all just so tiresome, honestly.
This stranger aligned with the Order and that world computer of theirs. That could be the key to closing the rifts that threaten the colonies. So, do you see why this menace must be wiped from the face of existence? Or, better yet, brought to our side through the power of capitalism. Now, let's get out there and buy our way to victory!
I'm yearning and...
Is that it? Please tell me that's it. Yeah, kinda looks like that's it. Jesus Christ, this is bad. Well, it's bad. I don't know honestly what you expected else for me to say, but it's bad. Real bad. It's incredibly bad, to be honest. Avowed looked more promising than this. Holy. That's hilarious. Anyway, that was from Wild Gamer SK. 10 out of 10. Bye.